All right, Mr. Drummond, what's going on, dude? These look pretty cool. Let me just make sure you don't have any questions. Look on my other screen here. Struggling with perspective when it's taken a massive scale. Any tips on making perspective more convincing when the camera can see miles and we're looking at things for large mountains? Yeah, perspective is a little bit harder, especially when you have those wide angle shots, kind of like I told you about. So you have to kind of be careful about that. So the wider you go, the less you're going to have. But the best way to deal with that is overlap. So we have these big giant things that are actually taller than me, right? If I'm a guy right there, there's probably going to be one that's like really, really, really huge. So you probably want to, put one like there. And you're probably going to be, in the mountains. So you're going to have some that are kind of probably obstructing your view. So you need more of an overlap. And that's probably the best way to do it. So you don't want to be able to see out into the distance quite that easily. So if you actually go into a forest, you'll notice that your view on the ground is very, very obstructive, and you won't be able to see a lot of different things unless you're like at a very, very high vantage point. And we're at a pretty low vantage point, so I don't think we would see a lot of this stuff. So that's why I would just raise everything in terms of height. And if you raise the height, that will make it a lot easier for you to kind of sell that scale because you're going to be like, well, that thing's really, really far away. So that's probably the easiest way you can do it. This one, the same thing. Just think about that motion too. Like, just think of a ball and just think about how the ball is going to bounce around from piece to piece. You know what I mean? And so, if I go like that, it's like here, here, and the ball should kind of get smaller and smaller in terms of the distance as we go. So then that will kind of help me create a little bit of scale, a little bit of overlap. And so you don't want it to be just one piece. You want it to be multiple pieces that we can't see. We can't see the entire path of this mountain. And that's kind of the one issue that I'm seeing here is that we can see everything, and you want more overlap. You don't want there to be a clear path. It's almost like when you see the hills, when you see those like old cartoon drawings of hills and stuff like that, and then you have the path, right? This is the path, right? You can't see where it's coming from on the other side. You just kind of see the path again, right? And then all of a sudden you see the path again, right? But you can't see how each one connects to the hill, how it goes in there and comes out and goes in and goes out, right? We can't see that. The same thing here. You don't want to see the whole entire path. So I think as long as you kind of raise things up a little bit, it should be fine. And so these ones too, if you want to have more space, just kind of create another one, right? Just have like a 1, 2, 3. Having that 3 read will make it a lot easier for you in the future. These ones look pretty cool. I definitely like what's going on here. We could definitely probably do it more in an epic proportions. Maybe this one comes outward a little bit more. So that way it feels like it's huge. So it's going into, if this is like the front, I guess. All right. We want to be like that. You know what I mean? So think about how that ship is kind of going, towards us. Make that thing huge. So now when we draw the next one, going off in a different direction, right? We have that one, and then we have that one, and it gets more flattened out as we go. So think about that as well. Liking the colors; those are pretty cool. I like the water in general. I like all that stuff. Here is cool. I'm definitely liking the overall like the proportions here, from here to there. I would just think of more of a kind of like a visual eye, like a visual pathway. So I'd probably put a piece right there, piece right there, piece right there, piece right there, bam, right there. And maybe make this guy a little bit bigger so that way it just stands out just a tad bit more. So that way we just have much more of a bigger scene to work with. A little bit too wide for my taste, but I like where you're going with it, so just kind of keep that in mind as well. But yeah, overall, I think it's like if we're doing that perspective stuff, really think about what it's like to be in like a forest or something like that, and then just look out at a top mountain. You don't get as a big view as you think you would, so keep that in mind. So I would look at a lot more like mountain photography, like forest photography of you being in a jungle and seeing a mountain from really far away. Those are definitely important if you want to be able to kind of sell that idea a little bit more. So I would say more reference for you, and that would definitely help out. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, overall, like the ideas are cool. Like I like this idea that you're creating. I like the snow. I like the water. I like all that stuff. It's pretty badass. But now I have to kind of work on the execution and work on the shot framing. So let me know if that makes any sense. Overall, stuff's good. Some small tweaks in there, but hopefully I'll see you in the live Q&A. But if not, I'll see you next week, dude. All right, Sam. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.